Good afternoon. It's great to have everybody here. I'm sure that you all enjoyed this great lunch that we had. So for Carroll Park Catering, who prepared it, let's give them a hand, if you would. You know, we do this each year to honor a group of employees. And many of you out there today will be honored, and you have supervisors, a number of them who are here with you. Last year we had a different group of employees. Next year we'll have a different group of employees. But all of you with those employees that we honored last year, that we'll honor in the years ahead, constitute what I think is a tremendous workforce for the city of Douglasville. I've been around a long time, and I would stack our employees up with any group in the state or in the nation as far as that goes, because I think we have a great group of men and women who truly care about this city and the citizens here, and who seek to provide good quality services. This is one small way that we have of saying thanks to you. The mayor and the city council have made it possible for us to do this on an annual basis. I can remember, and some of the retirees who are here will remember, when we used to have this in the upstairs room at the old community center at Hunter Park. And we got a little too big for that, and we had it in a different facility. And we finally stopped that, both for economic reasons and because of we didn't have a good place to have it because we had grown that much. And now, of course, we don't have all of our employees. We just have those who are being honored, as well as a number of supervisors. But it's great to have all of you here today. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your interest in this community and in this government. Now, in a few minutes, our Mayor Harvey Persons will be back up. We'll be up here to make some comments to you. I do want to call attention to a special group of people who are seated over to my left. We have 4 members of the City Council, and we'll introduce each of them, and we'll ask them as I introduce them to stand up and remain standing, and then we'll give a round of applause. But we'll start with the Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey. Next to him is Councilman Carl Pope, Councilman Doug LaGuire, Councilman Sam Davis. Thank you all for being here. You see, one reason I had them stand as a group and just have one round of applause, I didn't want you to applaud louder for one council member than you might for another. And we do have 3 members of our council who couldn't be here today. Councilmember LaShawn Burdanley, Councilman Mark Adams, and Councilman Doug LaGuire. Doug LaGuire is here. Councilman Dennis McLean could not be here. Now, before I conclude my remarks, I do want to call attention to the fact to some of the retirees. I think I've jotted down everybody's names, and if I forgot anybody, please let me know. But we have Chris Harris with us, Jean and Sue Turner, Peggy Furr, Melba Martin, and Nick Banks, who was my predecessor as city manager. If all of you will stand, and I want to give you all a round of applause. Tell you just a very quick story. I was working as a consultant, and one of the problems with working as a consultant is you work in 3 ways. You work to get your job, you work to do the job, and then you have to work to get paid for the work you've already done. And I was having trouble collecting from a client that I had, and I'd been down in Columbus that day. Got home late, was living in Oxford, Georgia, late at night, and my wife told me that I had received a call from Nick Banks, city manager in Douglasville. So I called him the next day, and he started the conversation with this. He said, "Aren't you tired of chasing rabbits?" And by that he meant, aren't you tired of doing what you're doing and then trying to have to work to get paid? And he told me that, he said, "We want you to come work for the city of Douglasville." said, we're not sure what we want you to do or what your title is going to be, but we want you to come to work for us. And it didn't take me long to say, yes, that's what I'd like to do. And been here ever since. And it's been a great time, and I have certainly enjoyed my time working with people, the group of retirees, as well as our current employees. Before we proceed, I do want us to just have a moment of silence. We did lose one of our employees early this morning in the police department, Tina Newbern, who had been ill for some time, and she went home to be with the Lord earlier today. So if you would just join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. I want to recognize two people who unfortunately were not able to be with us today. I think one was here and left early, but we have two individuals who have retired or are retiring during this calendar year. And in your program, you will see their names listed, Cecil Rainey and Becky Lewis. Cecil has already retired, and I think Becky will be retiring effective at the end of the calendar year. And I'll just read from the plaque that we will be presenting to them. It's the same wording except for the name and the length of service. This says, presented to Becky P. Lewis in appreciation of 19 years of service, October 26, 1994 through December 31, 2013. Best wishes for a long and happy retirement from the mayor and city council and all your friends at the city of Douglasville. And then the one for Cecil Rainey is for 16 years of service rather than for 19. Let's give these two employees a round of applause. Now, I think I remember my instructions from Fred Perry. If I go astray, he will let me know. But I think at this point, I ask the mayor to come up. And Fred Perry, and what we will be doing is I'm going to call the name of the individual that's being recognized today, and what we would do is, and we'll start off with those with 5 years. If you will come up to the front of the stage area, and the mayor will be there, and he will present you with your plaque or whatever you are receiving. We would ask at that time for you just then to move over to the area where you can see the light set up, and there will be a group picture with the mayor. And after we've introduced everybody, we'll have a round of applause for those groups of employees, and then we'll move to the next, the 10-year, and then so forth. But if you could, Mr. Mayor, if you would come up, and Mr. Perry, those of you who have your programs, you can follow along with us. And I will be doing these for each of the age groups, and we have them listed, I believe, in alphabetical order for any of the individuals who are not here. After our program is over, if someone is planning to get their plaque to them, you can see Mr. Perry. Otherwise, Mr. Perry will make sure that we get the plaques to them. Okay, we're going to start with our employees who've been with us and are getting today the recognition for 5 years of service. And again, as I call your name, if you would come up here, and the mayor will greet you at that time. And then after you receive the plaque from the mayor, move over to the area where we'll have the picture made. We'll start off with Robert Banks. John Britt. Okay, we're going to make a little change. I would have thought of this perhaps, but the mayor told me I needed to think of it, so we're going to let everybody know what we're going to do different. When I call your name now, when you come up, just come up the steps and the mayor will greet you here. We'll present your plaque and then move over to the other. But Robert, we won't make you come back and go through the line again. So, okay, next, Chad Brown. Mike Bryant. Okay, apparently Mike's not there. Okay. Councilwoman LaShawn Burr-Danley, and I know she's not able to be here, but for Mike Bryant and for Council Member Burr-Danley, let's give them a round of applause. Dale Davidson. Stacy Gruber. Gary Holbrook. Happy Howard. Ron Jorna. Justin Manwaring. Jacob Mason. Randy Miles. Bennett Oliver. Patrick Poston. Richard Beeson. Nathan Todd. Jenny Zembruski. That's our group of employees receiving the 5-year awards. Let's give them another round of applause. Okay, next we will move to a group of employees who are being recognized for 10 years of service. Willie Daniels. Marsha Hampton. Elaine McCune. Jeff Knowles. Brandon Nutter. And that completes our group that are receiving the 10-year awards. Okay, now we'll go to the group of employees who have been here for 15 years, receiving their 15-year recognition. We'll start Mac Abercrombie. David Denman. Sheila Mason. Our next person to be honored is not here, Mike Metler, that he is on vacation, but Mike has flown to Hawaii and is coming back to stateside with his son on the USS Nimitz, so I'm sure he's having a wonderful time. But Mike Metler. Brad Stafford. Scott Walker. Well, as you can see, Sheila Mason had the distinction of representing the entire class of the 15-year award winners. Okay, now we have a group of employees who've been with the city for 20 years. And we'll recognize these individuals, starting with Amy Belcher. Stephanie Hafes. This next individual kept me straight for a long, long time before she moved on to other parts of city government. Karen Knight. Beverly Pounds. Bobby Willingham. That's the group that we have with the 20-year pins. Okay, that concludes our awards to your fellow employees, and at this time I'll turn the mic over to Mayor Harvey Persons.
Thank you, Bill, and I just have a few words to say about our annual Jobs Award Banquet. You notice I said Job Awards Banquet. But it's not a Job Awards Banquet. It's really Service Awards Banquet. Because you see, there's a big difference in people that just have a job and that's what they make it. It's just a job. They just show up every day and work and go home, and it's just a job. But there's a difference when it's service, and that's truly what each and every one of you do, is provide a service. And Bill said something about he's been around a long time, and we've both been around a long time. As a matter of fact, I was here just a little bit before Bill. But as he said, we've come a long way. And I had the opportunity of spending a few minutes before we got started and reminiscing just a little bit with, I don't want to say the old timers, but how about if I say some of our former employees or our retirees? Because you see, they were providing a service also, just like each and every one of you do. Gene Turner and I were talking a little bit about when we remodeled the old O'Neill's clothing store. And Sue Turner, who was formerly the HR director, and I had the opportunity of chairing the personnel committee at one time when Sue was the HR director. So go back a long time with a lot of you as far as former employees, as well as a lot of you that are current employees. And you notice I said job or service, because you see, I know all of you. I know all the former employees that are in the room, and know all the current employees in the room. And I can stand up here and truthfully say, and each and every one of you will attest to, it's not just a job, because you're truly providing a service, and you're providing our service to our community. And really, what is a service? Is it, can we get a sack full of it and leave today? Or can we give you a sack full of it or make you do it? No. You see, it's not something you really buy. Service is something you give. And you give it from who you are. And that's what each and every one of you do every day. It's intangible. It's not something you can touch, feel, grip, smell. It's an intangible. How do you measure it? We have a Svc Awards Banquet. We give you a pen, we give you a watch, we give you a plaque. Is that really the adequate way to measure it? No. Because what you do each and every day that you come to work at the city of Douglasville truly can't be measured. You get compensated, you get benefits, at the appropriate times we give you a watch, a plaque, an award, but those aren't truly the measures of what you do each and every day in the service that you provide to our community. And that's what each and every one of you do. And the funny thing about a service is something that has to be produced or provided. And it's consumed during a certain period of time. And that's each and every day that you show up for work. It's each and every day of continued year of service that you provide. But the funny thing about it, it has to be repeated over and over and over and over again. We have former retirees in the room that provided that service. Some of them many years before some of you that are here today were here, and they provided that service. And that service that they provided is what's helped make the city of Douglasville what it is today. And those of you that have come and continue to be here are the ones that pick up that legacy of what they passed on and continue each and every day to provide that service that you provide that makes this city what it is. And as I said, you really can't measure it by, we gave you a pen or an award or a certificate, but that's truly not an accurate measure of what each and every one of you do each and every day that you show up for work. Some at night, some in the wee hours of the morning out there protecting us safety-wise. Some out there on a day-to-day basis taking care of maintenance and sanitation needs in the rain, the sleet, the snow, the heat. Some of you are in administrative capacities doing what you do on a day-to-day basis that continues to make the behind-the-scenes thing work. Yeah, you're not out there in the police car. You're not out there on the sanitation truck. You're not out there repairing the potholes. All those are important, but you're behind the scenes, day in, day out, providing that service. Sometimes nobody sees. Maybe nobody acknowledges. And you need to know that you are the service providers for the city of Douglasville. And the awards that you got don't adequately say what you do as being the service providers for the city. Because as I've said, and some of you have heard me say it over and over and over and over again, You're the city of Douglasville. It's not this building. It's not City Hall. It's not the police cars. It's not the sanitation trucks. It's you. Each and every one of you are the city of Douglasville. Individually and then collectively, you're the service providers that help make this city the great city and continue that legacy that those before you have given. And we appreciate it more than that pen or that plaque or that award or watch can ever say. So when you take that award home, and hopefully you'll frame that plaque and you look at it, when you see it, see much more than is in that plaque. See yourself, see your fellow co-workers, and know that what you're doing is truly providing a service to this great city. And you're a very important part of it. Let me give you some real quick, interesting numbers. We have currently 273 employees. 222 of them are full-time, or 81.3%. 51 are part-time, 18.8%. 20% of our employees have 5 to 9 years of service. 14% have 10 to 14 years of service. 38% have 15 to 19 years of service. 8% have 20 plus years of service. Now those numbers, that's almost 50% of our employees have 5 years of service or more. Now that says one of two things. It either speaks to the greatness of this great city, or it speaks to your tenacity of being able to hang in there. And I hope it's a little bit of both, because you see, that's what it takes. And again, you're the most important part of making this city work. And all of you at some point in time have heard me and my little slogan, if you will, that we're going to help make, working together, this be one of the premier places in America to live, work, play, and raise a family in a safe environment. And all of you heard me say, probably at some point in time when I campaigned, and I said, I want to help make it. And I was very intentional when I said help make, from early on in the time that I started campaigning. Because you see, I'm not going to make it. Our council members, we're not going to make it anything. You as the individuals, the employees, the service providers, you're the ones. Now we need to be able to provide that vision and direction and guidance, but you're the ones that make it happen. And without you, it's just another building. It's just another location. It's just another dot on the map. And there's a lot of that out there. But you're what makes Douglasville different. We just recently were able to get a business that's going to be coming to Douglasville, a little small business, privately owned, $6 billion a year business. Jeff Knowles and I were having a conversation at dinner one night with the individual that made the choice of coming to Douglasville after he'd been in the Atlanta metropolitan area for about 3 weeks, going around to different communities to find out where their $6 billion a year business wanted to locate one of their facilities. And we were sitting there and I asked him, I said, tell me something. I said, what made you, or what was the number one reason in you making the decision to move to Douglasville. Number one decision, number one reason. Other than Jeff, anybody want to venture a guess? Let me tell you what he said. He didn't stutter. He didn't have to think about it. He said, the people. And what I've come in contact with and dealing with the city of Douglasville. He didn't say the service providers, but I sat there and thought, it's the service providers. It's our employees. They're the ones that make that difference. This is a company that was being courted by companies all over the Atlanta metropolitan area. They chose to come to Douglasville. You're the ones that make the difference. You're the ones that differentiate the city of Douglasville. I've lived here for 36 years, my bride and I. We could live anywhere in the country. Anywhere. Traveled all over the country, a lot of the world. We choose to stay here in Douglasville. And you, the providers of service in the city of Douglasville, are a very important part of why I could make that decision. I want to thank you in closing. I think most of you know I'm passionate about the city, and I could stand up here and go on and on and on for much longer than any of you want to hear. But in closing, I want to thank Fred, Rosita. Great job here in helping us recognize you. And you're the ones that we really are indebted to and want to thank. I want to thank the staff, and I want to thank our council that's over here. 3 of the members are not here because they didn't want to be here. They're not here because they had other reasons that prohibited them from being here. But this council body that is serving the city now is indebted to you and the service that you provide. And I want to thank and applaud our current council for being committed to you, our service providers, and seeing that you're taken care of and that you're recognized for the job that you do each and every day. I want to thank our staff and let each and every one of you know, staff, employees, council, it's a collective effort, and it's truly an honor and a privilege to serve our great city with you. Thank you.
So thank you all this afternoon once again. This concludes our program. I think we still have food that is left over if you want to avail yourselves to that. But as of now, you can consider yourselves dismissed. Thank you.